Hey, Judith, how's it going?
Hello,
Hello.
all good.
Very nice. Um, Quick intro. Um, we're doing something new today. So I got to know Judith from LinkedIn, I suppose. Yeah, I think it was like a just a LinkedIn match. I commented on something that your current, well, not employer, but your current project, you're working on a project, and she posted something, and I said amazing, and then I don't know, we got talking. Exactly. And so, um, Judith, do you want to maybe introduce yourself just quickly for everyone?
Sure. Hi, I'm Judith. I'm a software engineer. I'm freelancing currently, so working on different projects, but mostly anything that runs in a web browser. So I would say I'm a full stack developer, and I particularly enjoy building MVPs and prototypes, which I guess brings us to what we're doing today.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. So I'm I wouldn't say I'm full stack. I always get scared of databases. I don't know. I learned to use that back in the day, but I don't know. I'm very much like I think I'm more front of the front end type of person.
Mhm.
And in my day job, I work a lot in user experience and making stuff in a way that people understand what they're doing. But that is exactly the reason why I was so curious in this project, because what we're doing is to live code a MVP with you,
Yes.
right? Judy, do you want to show quickly what we're attempting to build?
Yes.
I'm
So,
also very curious to actually hear in what sort of tech stack we're going to work. I know it's going to be React and Tailwind and stuff,
yes,
but yeah,
exactly.
maybe you can tell us a little bit more about it.
Um, yeah, so the idea is just to build a super simple virtual bookshelf. So you can browse books that you have already read or that you have on your to be read pile, and you can add books, and who knows what kind of other cool features we can add to it later on. Um, but the idea was really to have like a super simple create, read, update, delete sort of situation, to really demo the, I would say, full stack character of the application. I guess what we do quite often is build UI prototypes, either just in Figma, or sometimes maybe we build a prototype with React that runs in the browser. But most of the time we can't save data and we don't fetch actual data from a database. It's just mock data. And I think that's where we want to go one step further and allow the users to save stuff. And as you said, you're a bit scared of databases, and I'm also sometimes a bit scared of databases. Um, but we want to try to like find a super simple approach to doing that. And I think that's the goal. And this is what you came up with in Figma. So that's what this could look like. I guess this would kind of be the start screen, this one here, when we don't have a book.
Yeah.
Um, so we can add a book, which then will have this sort of card structure, I guess.
Hmm.
And then later on, the idea would be to organize books a little bit more into shelves
Yeah.
or genres, something like that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah, I think that's the most important part. And for the tech stack, yeah, as you said, it's going to be React, TypeScript,
Hmm.
Tailwind for the UI stuff. Then we're using Vite to run the application. So yeah, it's really going to be, in this case, a single page application. Right now, we're not doing anything with like server-side rendering. So that could be an option, of course, to use something like Remix or Next instead.
Mm.
But for this super simple example, we're just going with plain React. And then later on, once we want to save the actual data, I was thinking we could use Supabase, which is kind of a
Ooh.
like backend-as-a-service situation. So we would, because again, databases are scary and backend can be a little bit scary. So why not just skip the backend? And what Supabase does is give us a hosted database. It's going to be a PostgreSQL database. I think as of now, that's the only database they offer, but I think Postgres is great, so why not? Yeah, and we will have an API to access it, so we can like straight from the front end write data to the database, fetch data from it without having to write like an actual backend. So we kind of save a layer in between, I guess. So that would be the goal.
Amazing. Very cool. So maybe just a couple more sentences for why I find this so exciting is they in my day job I work at an agency, and I don't know, since we work on user experience, we try to do usability testing with real people as often and as early as possible. Like, that's the big pitch I always tell all of our customers. Hey, look, we only have an idea. Let's, scramble together a couple wireframes and let's ask 5 people for 20 minutes each, to get a sense of product market fit, and then all the way down to actually just if you're adding a feature to your product, so if people will potentially understand what you're doing before you go through all the hassle of building it. And we use Figma prototypes for that. It's fine, it's all right, but I just had a usability testing this morning, and every time I have to go in and say, so look, you're gonna, like, it will ask you for your body height in this example, and you won't be able to, in fact, like, pull up the keyboard and enter your real body height. It's just going to show you, like, you click it and it's going to show you a value that I predefined for you, because that's just the way it is. And there are a couple use cases where I already kind of touched on the border of what's possible with a static click dummy like that. So I know that Figma is gonna, like, they're going all in, and you can do all sorts of crazy shit. But especially for me, who, as you as well do, have this impulse to go to code quickly, because it's kind of annoying to move stuff around with the mouse. Like, we kind of know that when other people think it's scary to touch code and it's going to be expensive and complex right away, we kind of know that you can actually do something relatively quickly without wasting days and weeks and whatever. And so what we're attempting to build here, I mean, we're not going to sell a virtual bookshelf to a customer, of course, but as you said, let's try to build something super quick with the technology that's available today. And I think Supabase is a great choice. I never worked with it. I only touched Firebase, and I was always excited that Supabase came around to be like the competitor to Firebase in maybe a couple of ways. And yeah, so the goal is we're going to make a couple of videos. We don't know how many. We never did this before, so bear with us. We're going to make a couple of videos and try to be cut as many corners and be as quick as possible to get to something working that actually stores books. But we want to explain the thought process and edit as few things as possible so you can actually follow and judge for yourself if it's worth to build a prototype app for whatever you're doing. Right?
Yes, exactly. And
awesome.
Yeah, we talked about Supabase a lot already, but I guess at least in this first part, we probably won't get to it. So I always like to develop very UI driven in a way. So do a lot of UI work first, because then, you kind of have your data structure pretty set already. Because if you start with the database, and then often the UI in the client is kind of the place that decides what the data has to look like, and then you always have to make changes in 2 places. So I kind of like to work with mock data a lot until we have pretty clear what the data should look like, and then we can probably add it to the database.
So cool.
Exactly.
So yeah, you want to actually just go ahead and set up that mock data. I don't know. I'll watch where you go to. I guess we're gonna put in a JSON file somewhere or whatever.
that's what I would think.
Cool.
Let me also bring my browser back. So maybe just 2 sentences on what we've done so far, because clearly this repository is not empty. But this is really just kind of the React boilerplate. So as I said, we used Vite to generate this app, and I just followed all the instructions on the Vite side with TypeScript. I think that's one important thing to notice. This is all TypeScript, but I think that's pretty standard by now. Then I installed Tailwind, added like the necessary configurations, but they mostly came out of the box. And then, yeah, basically I just removed all of the boilerplate code from the React stuff. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't think we did anything else so far. I set up a linter and formatter because I'm pretty strict about these things. But yeah,
All right.
I thought it would be a bit boring to watch us set up a repository, so that's why we did that already. But other than that, we have nothing, as you can see. So let's start from that. And I'm thinking, okay, we won't really have a backend, but why not have a nice structure in a way that maybe we would do it if we had a backend? So I was thinking maybe even for the mock data, let's create some services folder where we would usually put our services, because in our case, it will return mock data. And then later on, when we connect to the actual database, we can replace the mock data with the API call. Just to keep things clean.
Stuff that I would intuitively not have done. I would have put a JSON file somewhere. I would have tried to say, import this crap from somewhere or whatever. And it's...
Oh yeah, we will do that just in a different place.
yeah, okay, good. Cool. Yeah, perfect.
So maybe just to have like a little bit, I guess, separation of concerns. So even though we won't really have a backend, we will have this data layer which accesses and serves the data. And I think it's kind of nice to have it a little bit separate from the actual UI stuff. Maybe let's create a books.service.cs. And here we would have all our functions. So we would have a function for create book, delete book. And I guess the first one we want really is get all books. And later on, there will be another one like get book by ID or something if we just want to get one.
I see. Cool.
But I would just say we had a function get all books.
Awesome. So cool. For everybody watching, the hot idea is that Judith is sharing her screen, and I'm like, you see some weirdness going on. Like there's my cursor popping up sometimes. I'm in a live share. So we thought maybe there's places in the video where we want to help each other out both at the same time. So don't be freaked out by the second cursor.
Exactly. And the other weirdness you might sometimes see is Copilot popping in with helpful or useless instructions or suggestions. We thought we leave it on, I guess. I can also turn it off. But I think it might be nice to also see how much GitHub Copilot can help us. For example, for creating the demo data. So I think maybe the next thing we could do is just define our structure, and then I would try even asking Copilot if it can generate a JSON file for us with some dummy books.
Let's do it. I think everything that can help. I mean, our goal is to be as fast as possible.
Exactly.
To convince our stakeholders of why this app idea is so awesome. And if we can get our digital friend to help, super cool.
This suggestion is not terrible. Except I would probably like the idea of giving a number. What else does a book need? An author, I guess?
I think an author would be cool. I know my wife loves to know from when a book was released. So maybe a year in there or something. Description would be cool, like in the wireframe.
Mhm.
or like a note, like a, like a personal note you can add to your book, just saying, man, I hated this thing. I'm never going to read it again. I'm putting it here just to remind myself. um, Publication year, description, author, title.
Man,
Yeah,
we could probably have both, right? Like a description of what the book is about and then a personal note also.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
why not?
totally. I mean, I don't know, but sometimes there are these public APIs, and I was wondering if there's like a way to. This is for video 7, the
Yeah.
the bonus section, but I was wondering if we could have something like, I want to add the Hitchhiker's Guide to and it will auto-populate the cover and the title and the publishing year or whatever, because there's maybe some public API. But bonus
Yeah.
video, let's see.
Yeah. But that is a client. We will check that definitely.
Cool.
What else? Maybe a rating, but I don't think we have that in the UI yet. So let's.
Oh, we can add it later, but I think a
Yeah,
rating would be
but
cool.
then it would be nice, right?
Maybe
But
let's
we
add
can
it
add
now.
it once we need
No,
it.
let's
I
add it
guess.
now. I think that's a super useful. That's actually better than the personal note. I think that's more likely to be used.
I would also say at least the last 3 I would consider optional. For the
Mhm.
year, I'm not so sure. But I would say we should also be able to save a book without a year, probably.
Yeah. I don't know if you always know that.
So I would say title and author should be required.
Mm. Yeah.
Maybe not even the author.
I think what's really required from the app perspective is probably the ID and the title. The ID we're going to make ourselves. So it's the title, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then let's make the rest optional.
What about a cover image? Are we going to do that? That's actually how I came to this API idea, because I was wondering, where on earth would you get the cover image now? Like,
Yeah,
you know?
that's a good question. I think it would also depend on whether we use such an API or not. Because if we say I mean, no one would really upload a cover image, right? That
I
would
think
be
you have to be like a very detailed person to kind of
exactly.
go on Google search and find the image and store it to your downloads folder and then put
Exactly.
it on your. So let's keep that for later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the image would be nice if we could somehow fetch it from the third-party API. But then I'm not even sure if the image would be part of our book structure, because then it would basically just be like a link to an external API. So yeah,
Ooh.
maybe we keep that part for later when we
Yeah, let's
actually
keep that for
deal with the
later.
image. Because otherwise we would also have to store the images somewhere,
Yeah.
which we could. But
Yeah.
baby
Yeah,
steps.
that's all very
maybe.
true. All right, let's stick with that. I think that's cool.
Yeah, and then I would say we just, instead of here making a call to our database or something, we will just create like a JSON file with some workbooks.
Awesome. You think
And
Copilot's going to do that?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Otherwise, I
Yeah.
also have this, I think I had the site, markaroo.com.
That's pretty nice. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, it doesn't have book titles, but it has movie titles. The mock site.
Also
Let's
nice.
see. Please generate a JSON with 10 books.
Let's see.
Sure. Here's a JSON. Nice.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I was hoping it would fetch actual books. This is like book 5, author 5, but it's the structure.
But you
seems
can
to.
let's give it a try. Let's see if you just say like, that's very cool, but can you fill it with real examples or whatever? I don't know. I like that you're being polite to the AI.
Yes, I always say hello and thank you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's being nice to me as well.
Yeah.
It was my pleasure. Have a nice day. To Kill a Mockingbird.
So awesome!
1984.
This is so cool.
Jane
Is
Austen.
it rating all of the books 5? Oh no, there's a 4 in there.
Oh, there's a 4 for Jane Austen. Well, no, romantic, I guess. Moby Dick. It likes the classics.
It does like the classics. Oh, but it didn't like Moby Dick so much. Huge fan of War and Peace, though. The Hobbit. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, that's a 5.
That's a 5, of course.
Trained on nerd data.
Cool. It
Super
looks
cool.
pretty cool. And let's take that. Nice. All right. Now, question is, how do we get this into our service?
Yeah.
I'm never really sure how to import JSON.
Is it, yeah?
I think we can just give it
the root?
Name.
Or like, yeah. Just like books or whatever? Yeah.
Read objects.
Uh-huh.
And then let's see if we can just return demo books.
Here we go.
But it doesn't have to be everything right now.
Oh yeah.
And
now what?
And now what? Why not in the first step?
Uh-huh.
So this is our main app file.
Yeah.
Let's just print out all the titles from all the books just to see that we've fetched them correctly. Maybe. And then let's try to make it look nice.
Awesome. I'm excited for those showing up in a console log, actually. I mean, usually, like, we have a melange of Svelte and Remix and Next.js, you know, and there's so much system-related convenience going on that I always have the feeling that I kind of forget how it is to just, you know, have a React app with nothing, like no server-side export, static prop shit, lasers, whatever. Just fetch this thing.
Exactly.
End of story.
And to be honest, like, all these tools are great. And I guess the tech stack we are using here is super simple and would probably not be sufficient for a big production application. But that's not what we're doing. So
exactly.
Yeah.
We're prototyping.
Exactly. So let's just say folks equals add all posts.
Bam.
Nice. And then let's just iterate all the books and see if you can see something. Oh, I think I forgot a bracket somewhere.
Oh,
I think here. Yes. Ooh. Ah,
awesome.
okay, super ugly.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I can do something. I don't know. We can just make this like a, like
Yeah,
a
exactly.
whatever. Something like
Nice.
that. Yay, I can also help. Amazing. Um, very cool. And so this is super cool. Why is it giving us it wants a key.
It wants a key.
I was wondering what the squiggly line wants.
But that's fine because our books have an ID. There we go.
Hey, so that's pretty cool.
Exactly.
So I think my original idea for when I was looking at this wireframe, as you explained in the beginning, was that if you have nothing, I thought we don't want to bother you with, add a book. And then we go like, no, you first need a category or a shelf or whatever. So I thought maybe you can just jam in books and we make it possible to categorize them later.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's so this is our list of all books now. I guess we kind of need a button that says add new book
Mhm.
or something like that.
Yep.
And then, well, a book is probably like a little component somewhere, right? So we could make like a new book, right? And can I grab those types just like that from the service, or is that probably
Yeah, you can do that. I think they should be explored this.
Yeah, cool. All right. So, like whatever, right? Like this has all the stuff. So that's sort of thing. But hold on, let's do that right. We have a polite type book from cool, yeah. So we'll have some sort of little component for the book, right?
Yeah,
That we
exactly.
can Yeah, so I guess from a markup perspective, I know we're prototyping, we don't have to be, those people. I just made like a little list here, yoink, and then have like the book going on, and just
Mhm.
jam the entire book in there. Point. And then I broke it.
Nice.
Oh no, I didn't break it. Yay!
Oh, it looks nice.
So what are our next
Whoa.
steps? We want to add a book. We want to we're showing all the books so we can make them a little bit pretty. We can show all the props if they're available. That's one thing. And then we have an action to add a new book. But I mean, so we're not going to do that on demo data in a JSON file, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. I'm wondering if it makes sense to add the books once we have the database. I mean, we could add the UI for adding books, like we would need some sort of form to enter all the data. But as you said, it's not going to get saved. So we could also, jump back and forth a little bit between the UI and the database and first make the book display look a little bit nicer. Then maybe work on connecting the database.
All right.
And then work on adding books.
Okay. So, I mean, then maybe I'll just continue with this effort here. Description, and we have a rating. So that's all the stuff we have. This is maybe an article to make this a little bit more semantic. And it can be, I don't know, maybe H3 or whatever for the ooks or the title. I actually think this doesn't even have to be a headline in this case. This can just be like a regular paragraph, and I don't know, let's just jam all that stuff in here and then see. So we have the author. We have the publication here, and that can be like a time thing. Is that the way to do it?
I had no idea.
I don't know. We're prototyping. So in a real app, I would probably crack out schema.org and see, what the proper metadata is for publication here. But like, that's, maybe a little bit too fancy for our pants. So, description. Of course, not description. Description is going to be a P tab. Description. It's a little funny to code in this live share. Like it sometimes swallows the closing tags and stuff.
Ooh.
But it's a lot better than I thought. And then we're gonna have a rating. Rating can be a span. And then kind the rating. Okay. And so then let's make this just like a little bit like this. Grid gap. I'm a huge fan of grid. I kind of broke it. Oh no, it repaired itself.
No, that was me.
Cool.
There was just some tag missing again. But
oh, thank you. Good.
nice.
Perfect. So
cool. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So one thing I think we should consider for our data structure is that all these things here can be undefined.
Very good point. Totally.
We can
except for title, everything is
random
optional,
data.
Right? Or oops. Do the boring part over here. That's what you meant, right?
Yes.
Noise. And this can maybe be rating. Hold on. Actually, I think it's maybe actually like this. Because close it just if we wanted to do something with the number later.
Yes, I think what would be cool later would be to have like some star icons or something which display the rating, and then you can kind of hover them and they will change the color a little bit, and that's also how you can set the rating, kind of from 1 to 5 or something by clicking on
very cool
on the icons.
Make this a couple of icons later on in the clickable star icons, right? I know my co-founder Daniel always says to-do comments don't work, but maybe they do in this case.
We'll take care of it. Yes. Nice.
Cool.
That looks pretty good.
Cool. I just follow my designer urge to make this a little bit pretty.
Very,
Is it pretty?
I don't know. It might be my very old shitty monitor, but I can hardly see it.
Oh, well, yeah, me neither. But did something happen?
Yeah.
50 is slate 50 is like way too low, so nobody can see that in the screen share. Yeah. Go like that. So just make this a little bit nicer to see. Cool.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That looks pretty good. Shall we try to make it a little bit responsive? I think we could do that easily by just working on the grid a little bit.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
just kind of how many, columns we have. So I guess we would
Okay.
have 1 by default, and then, I don't know, 2 on medium devices, and so on.
Let me see if I can take it out of my brain. There's this way to not use breakpoints and just tell the item itself how wide it is at a minimum and maximum, and then it will just add a new column.
Oh, really? I didn't try that.
So, okay, so it's just it's always a little bit ugly in Tailwind, but like angle brackets, square brackets are this arbitrary values syntax, right? So you can go,
Yeah.
let's see, repeat. And then I think it's autofit or autofill. I never know CSS. Autofit. So repeat. I think it's what you're telling it is fit as many columns, like repeat auto-fitting as many columns as you can. Under these circumstances. So minimum, I guess we want this to be 24 characters wide at the minimum. You know, like if we look at the text and then like a title is what, like, or maybe even 20 or something. Let's see. So CH is this unit where it takes, I think, like the width of a 0 or something from that font that you're looking at right now.
Yeah.
And then, so that's the minimum. And then one FR is the rest.
Cool.
It's very nervous if that will work.
Ooh. I didn't know that. Oh.
I'm a huge grid fanboy. And when I think I'll make my own t-shirts. Yeah.
That's nice.
Cool.
Can we make them equal height? Or would that look weird?
We can totally make them equal height.
What do you say as a grid fanboy? Probably would be nicer, right?
This is a very interesting topic. I think amongst my customers, it's like a 50-50 share. Whenever we come up with a design where, you know, like in these websites, and then you have like 3 boxes for your USPs of the product. It's fast, it's amazing, and it, you know, makes you more attractive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whenever these boxes are equal height, half of them say, well, but there's like weird empty space in the end.
Yeah.
And the other half, like, and if I make them equal height, like if I don't make them equal height, they're like, can we have them equal height? Like it looks very untidy.
Yeah, that's true.
But so what I do usually is, so I think the issue now is actually that the LI itself is already the equal height. So if we need to put like a background on there.
Ooh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
it's the article element itself. So as a huge grid fanboy that I am, I think if you just say grid on the wrapper, then they're all the
Nice.
same height. Mm-hmm.
I think it looks. Well, now it looks a bit
Yeah,
weird.
because they're all on the right. And so we can say here on the item itself, since it's stretching now, we can say items. I think items start.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it better now?
I
Hmm.
don't know if it changed anything.
Hmm.
Is it
Oh,
items
you
or
know
just
what?
the
But
size?
I think it's also, the issue is also we have like two different issues that make it untidy. So because like in some cases, for example, War and Peace, we don't have the year,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That will also make it a little bit. Hmm.
I mean, we could simply fix this by, I guess, always displaying these things and then just display a dash when we don't have the data. Then it would look like a bit more tidy, I guess. But I don't know if you want that. So it would be like author colon and then either the author or a dash if we don't have an author.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, on the other hand, I mean, it would also be nice to just have more space for the description in the case that you just don't have the. Hmm. So let's divert attention and and play with the font size a little bit.
Yes.
Is it doing anything? Text. Is it updating for you?
Don't think so.
Text. Oh, because, well, I gotta use the right unit, you know. It's large, and then
Yeah.
yeah. So that could be a little bit, yeah, maybe a little bit bigger. This is actually just a little bit wider. Oh yeah, then it jumps over there. Cool. So for the alignment of stuff, yeah, that's a very good question. Hey, could you go on that War and Peace item with the inspector tool thing,
Yes.
so we can see the grid? I'm wondering a little bit why it's so weird. Yeah, so it is stretching the grid over the full height of the element. You know, let's just make our lives a little bit easier. And have the have this be an li immediately. Oop. Get rid of this. This is the book. Book. Oh. Sorry, I was struggling. That's nice. So now they are all the same height. Is it content start? It's content
That was
start.
the one, I think.
All right, cool. So yeah, okay, so now we're just aligning everything at the top. And if we don't have a prop, then we don't have it. Let's see. So, I mean, what do we want to do now? We kind of have a list of books. It's not the prettiest yet, sure. But what do we want to worry about next? So you already mentioned if we were to add a new book, we kind of need forms for that, right? So that's
exactly
a bigger topic to open. Then we have the same form essentially, if we want to edit a book later on. Then you had this nice idea with the rating, that maybe it's easy to update the rating without going into the edit mode of the book or something like that.
Exactly, that would be nice, I think.
All right. Then we have deleting a book, that sort of stuff. And later on, the putting a book into a category sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, I'm actually very happy with where we arrived already.
Yeah, definitely. I think that could be a nice point to maybe wrap up this session.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, I think next we could maybe even really look at fetching the books from an actual database and then making the call for adding a book. And then I think there's some things we could do. Yeah, definitely deleting. That's pretty straightforward, I guess. We just need some button, and maybe for deleting, I always like to have like a little confirmation dialogue.
Yes.
Are you sure? Yeah. And
Hey,
what else? I was thinking if we want some sort of a detail view for our books, because right now, for example, I don't think Copilot gave us any of our personal notes, for example. But let's say theoretically, I go completely crazy with one of my personal notes on Moby Dick. Then this card would just get like infinitely long. So maybe we could have like this overview with just the most important information, title, author, year, maybe the rating, and then have like a nicer, a bit more fancy detail view. So I guess what we would need in the next step is maybe like a tiny little context menu somewhere up here where we can go to a detail view, where we can edit the book, we can delete it.
When I hear detail view and stuff like that, it makes me think of routing. And I'm already coming from my comfy Next.js couch. I'm like, oh no, how are we going to go to another component in plain React? I completely forgot.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually one thing I really like about these server-side frameworks. But we always have React Router, I would say. It's probably
of course.
the way to do it.
We're going to make it work. And it's probably a lot easier than we remember. But
yeah.
hey, I started a to-do file
nice.
for our next episode.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So make the books prettier. Detail view for a book. That's very cool for a book. And make sure text doesn't get too long, for example. And also like decide what happens if props are undefined, like year. And then, okay, detail view. Then we have edit a book. Add a new book. Delete a book. And for all this, it's like, what you say, add a little context to a book, which is also an exciting part for me because you suggested this UI library, right?
Yes.
So we're going to install that, see how that goes.
Yeah.
Set up Supabase. Yeah. All right.
For the setting up Supabase, I was thinking we're just gonna do it live because like the last and first time I used Supabase, I was so amazed by how I could literally make it work in 20 minutes or something. So I thought it would be really cool to really start from scratch and see how easy it can be. It might fail, but I think it could be cool to kind of do it live. Yeah. So I think it's
I'd be very
nice.
interested in that because I exactly did this 0 times.
Yeah.
I watched people on YouTube do it, and it was like, ooh, so cool. But I don't know. And so that's going to be exciting. I guess this is like at least 2 more episodes. I suppose we're going to have like a Supabase episode or something where we focus on the data wrangling, right?
I think so, yeah.
And then another one for prettiness and detail view or whatever. Like, let's see. I mean, let's see how far we go.
Exactly.
But,
yeah, there's so many things we can do.
Nice.
But I think that was a good start.
Pretty cool. And I mean, we didn't rush super quickly now, but it's like 52 minutes and we were talking all the time and we already have stuff in here and had Copilot generate data. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And we found out that Copilot is a bit of a bookie.
Yeah.
Likes the classics. I was worried for a second what kind of books it would generate, but it's good.
I would have actually kind of enjoyed it. It would be like, like a super horrible choice of whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice. Cool. That was a good start.
Judith, thank you for taking the time to do this with me.
This was fun.
Nice. Cool. Yeah. So see you on the next one. We're of course like if you already have comments for what we're doing, please let us know. Again, the concept is to show you everything, all the struggles, all the thought process, and but please let us know if we're being too elaborate or too verbose or too fast or too whatever. Happy to take comments. Cool. See you on the next one, right?
See you next time.
Ciao, you did.
Wow.